All right, guys, coming to you live from Cabo San Lucas. I'm here with my wife Jackie for 4 nights of R&R, and good to see you guys too. By the way, Clint and Brock, thanks for
Yeah, as always.
Good to see
coming
you.
in. Yeah, good to see you
Call
guys.
time.
Yeah, Cabo time. I don't know about you guys. I always think of Sammy Hagar, Cabo Wabo.
Hmm.
I don't even know what year that came up, but or if Sammy Hagar still comes down here. Somebody said they see him occasionally down here, but yeah,
I heard he still pops in.
yeah, to do
Mhm.
shots of his Cabo Wabo
Oh, I'm
tequila.
sure. Yeah.
Anyway, but anyways, it's funny when I'm down here in, I try to take as much of my routine on the road. We've talked a lot about standards. Don't care what zip code or what country you're in. And so, my morning routine. I did skip my victory lap last night, and we'll talk about sort of like what an ideal day is and what an ideal day isn't. But that's what I started thinking about is like, man, you're on vacation and you kind of go like, wow, this is awesome, but you go like, this isn't reality. It's like, what does an ideal really look like? What's it composed of? Um, Not the perfect day, like just what's the ideal day? And it's easy to think like, oh, it's vacation on a beach, and it is pretty awesome. But like, let's face it, who wants to live on? I mean, maybe I should rephrase that. Who wants to live on a beach for the rest of their life? There might be some value to that, but living on in an all inclusive resort for the rest of your life would probably not be a routine for success. So anyway, let's kick it off. Like Brock, for you, when I say the ideal day for you, not your clients, but like Brock Harling, what comes to mind? Like the first top three things that compose an ideal day for Brock Harling.
hmm Automatic is my morning routine. It doesn't matter where I'm at. Kids and I went on a 5-day camping trip this last year, a couple months ago, actually traveling all around, sleeping in tents. I did my morning routine that I normally do a little bit more condensed, but for sure that. And then, getting in a workout at some point or some sort of movement, getting outside and, spending time with family. Ideal day. I mean, I could go further into detail on any of those, but I don't miss my morning routine for anything.
Morning routine, movement, and family.
Hmm.
That's your minimum. That's the minimum ideal day standards.
Hmm.
So if you hit all three of those, it's a win.
That's a win.
Yep.
It's a win. It's a good balance too. I have top three that I put out on social media every single day. Three things I want to do, and personal is part of that too. So there's always something geared towards the kids or family, and I find so much more balance and purpose with that.
What I love too is you can control each one of those. Um, like if you put get a new client, like you didn't put that as part of an ideal day, or
Yeah,
or crush revenue, or reduce expenses, or it's pretty cool that you have zero business stuff in your ideal day.
it's true.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I mean, it could be in the morning routine at some point. There'll be some sort of thinking or business piece of it, but yeah, no.
Yeah, awesome. Clint, how about you?
That's great
Top
stuff.
top three
Um,
things.
yeah. Only three. Well, I mean, I can't. I'm gonna agree wholeheartedly with Brock a lot of this. For me, a perfect day is no matter what zip code I'm in. We talk about this, and I'm really trying to make that make that reality, and that's my big goal. And it's happening now. We do have right. I mean, I had a good example the previous week when I had traveled for 3 days in a hotel. This last weekend, we went away for the weekend to celebrate. Um, and my days are typically the same. I make sure that my morning routine is intact. Um, just like Brock said, I like a morning workout. And if my day is perfect, then I'm working out earlier in the day, a good workout. Clean nutrition wherever I'm at is part of a perfect day for me, and productive and effective thought. Whether that's whatever I'm fueling my mind with, reading, listening to, with the work that I do. I mean, those are the three things. Anywhere I'm at, that's what I want to do.
Hmm.
So that's a
Yeah,
perfect day.
that's awesome. All right, I'll go. Let's see. Well, I have to agree. Well, I'll zoom back. One, I agree with both of you guys how you outline it. I think the way I maybe complementarily, if that's a word, frame mine is if I can get, I get up usually around 4:45 to 5 a.m. If that time to 9 a.m., if I can do where my pregame planning, the morning routine starts off with water, salt, lemon juice, get my cup of coffee going. I start my stack of book reading. It's like 1 or 2 pages from each book, some devotionals, some journaling. Then I get into a state of flow on typically anything that's requires any sort of right brain, creative thought, problem solving, things that where I go, I'm just not executing. I've got to think about stuff. So writing a newsletter, writing a post, reflecting on something, thinking through a problem. If I get that 4 hour window, and I almost always do, the rest of the day is like solid. So
Yeah.
if I don't get that for whatever reason, then it's the rest of the day is a little bit either of playing catch up, reacting, or somehow trying to regain that feeling that I get when I get those first 4 hours. So I tend not to let, other than meetings I schedule. So we have a couple Argent Alpha meetings that are at like 7 a.m. That's part of the routine. Those aren't like the outside world taking over my calendar. That's just part of, I think I wrote this in a Sunday post. I said, when I go on a trip like this to Cabo, I don't stop working because one of the reasons I created Argent Alpha was I wanted to do something I didn't need a break from. And so like doing this call with you guys, it's like this is part of this part of fueling my tank or filling up my tank. Then, oh God, I got this Zoom with Brock and Clint again. It's like, so anyway, that's for me. Is like if I get those 4 hours, it's crushed. Let's go a little bit deeper on the ideal day. So you've had your morning routine, you've moved well, spent time with family, you've had productive thought. What else would you guys throw out there as far as like you're having that ideal day? Talk about like I don't know, recovery. Talk about relationships. Talk about interactions with others. Whoever's got something that pops to mind first.
Yeah, I'll go. The Clint mentioned it with clean eating. No matter where you are, it's just like that's part of. I think through that in part of my first part of my day is what is breakfast, what's lunch, what's dinner look like, kind of framing up. Okay, what meetings do I have on my calendar? Kind of walking through pregame prep, all of that. But then, I've worked really, really hard the last 18 months at creating balance in my life. So I'm not just, I've been really unbalanced and overworked. And so I have a newer relationship. Probably shouldn't even say that. We're coming up on a year here pretty quick. Um, but spending time with her, whether it's in person, most days is that. And if not talking through, FaceTime or whatever, if we can, our kids are all different places, but then doing something fun with my kids too, on days that I have them. And it's that is such a ideal part of the day because my kids have so much energy that if I don't, I mean, we get trapped in this house and it's just like everyone's just ripping at each other. And, so getting out ahead and trying to plan something fun or a game out in the yard, or, we've had Monday adventures on the calendar for, I don't even know, 5 years or something that we do. We have a Friday movie night, whatever the day is, it's planning that out. So I don't just let it happen, because when it happens to me, guess what? Dad usually gets irritable and crabby, because I'm not prepared, just like any other meeting. So having that in my relationships and family is so key.
Yeah, that's great. What's like the favorite? I mean, you said Friday movie night. That's one that's been a stalwart of the Harling family.
Yeah, I just like to give them as much structure or things to just look forward to, so I don't have to plan it either. It's just like, well, we're doing movie night. Okay, well, let's go get our popcorn, or I go let them go get candy or whatever it is. Or if it's Monday adventure, it started out just doing something outside the house that we normally wouldn't do. And if it's raining or really, really cold, we'll go bowling, or, they talk me into going to rides on Mall of America every now and then or something like that. But it's just, creating structure for that they get excited and look forward to. And, like we'll take turns sometimes picking different places that we go and whatnot. So.
Yeah, what I hear you saying is like is family traditions. I mean,
Mhm.
that's like a higher altitude part of the ideal day. Like, what's the ideal family life like? It includes family traditions, and Jackie used to do Taco Tuesdays. Where it was a lot easier for us than Fish Friday. That was never really our thing. But I think having some sort of like branding, legacy, memorable tradition building part of your family, that's a huge part of not only just the ideal day, that's just like building an ideal life, I think.
Right.
Clint, how about you?
I think Brock, that was such a good description and a great Kickstarter. I was taking notes the whole time. So yeah, Jack, to your point, I would call it lifestyle by design, right? So we're creating and curating our lifestyle, and that's a lot of what we do in the planning each year. And I like to think of a couple different things. One phrase I like is simplify and upgrade. That's what I like to do. Simplify everything and upgrade it to the next level. So declutter, simplify, upgrade, and that's creating the lifestyle by design. Some of the things that, again, I said this earlier, be, do, have. Like Brock, you're being that person, you're doing it, and you have it. Um, and so for me, when I think about things that would add on to my perfect day, as opposed to just those first four or whatever it is that I categorized earlier. It's a lot of the mindset too, how I show up, right? That would create a perfect day. So I think about my one of my favorite books in the world, As a Man Thinketh. The last chapter is Serenity, and it talks about the strong, calm man, how everybody loves the strong, calm man. And so I try and keep that in focus for a perfect day, how I respond and not react. That's huge for me in relationships with my wife, with my kids. So when I execute on that, it tends to be a perfect day. So um, that's a little bit more on my side.
Yeah. It's funny hearing you guys talk about that stuff. What came to mind for me was a big input into the ideal day is probably maybe roughly 2 weeks before. Like, what do you let into your calendar? Because it's
Mhm.
so easy to go, sure, I'll have this
Mhm.
meeting. And then it's, Tuesday morning and you go, why the hell did I schedule that meeting with someone who it's not that they're a bad person. It's like, it's just not necessary. Could that have been an email? Could have been a quick phone call, a text. So I think that's one of the things that I've been learning is I love when I have a clear calendar, or it's
Mhm.
calendar, or it's like tomorrow. We've got a great guest speaker, and I'm excited. That's like I can't wait for this one. It's going to be a good one. So really being cognizant of that, like part of creating your ideal day. What are you doing a week or 2 weeks in advance to make sure only high quality inputs get into your calendar? And that ties into James Allen stuff. Like the high quality inputs is remind me, Clint, too. He talks about the garden and planting. What you plant in your mind grows, whether it's weeds or flowers, I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I mean, that's, what are you planting in your calendar?
Exactly.
Yeah. Weeds or flowers. So,
One thing is it like listening to all three of our responses. I just jotted something down here. A lot of times we're talking about health and we're talking about wellness and whatnot. People will oftentimes talk about some goals that they have, versus what I heard all of us say is just like our identity is healthy, balanced living, yeah, all the way across our entire day, our entire lives. And it always comes back, almost every one of our conversations on here comes back to future self at some point,
mhm.
and we are living our future self now. It's just like something that we believe in really strongly, and are out living it. And I hear you guys say that. I know that that's something that drives me too, and something that we want with all of the other guys that follow along with us is just to, have a vision of what that looks like, not only on the large scale, but then, drilling down into the day to day. Like Clint, I eat clean no matter where I go. I get some sort of movement. I do my morning routine. I mean, think about all of those things right there. That is basic. And you go to bed. Jake talked about your victory lap. That is your alpha 5. You're living that out. It's your ideal life. It's so repeatable and habitual. So,
Yeah, it's funny. So back to what I mentioned right when it ties into what you said, Brock, but right at the beginning of the podcast. Um, we had a fun night last night with another couple, but it was if I could go back in time and talk to my previous self, I would say time shift that thing 3 hours earlier. Because what Jack and I were talking about this morning was like, man, if we can withstand a lot of curveballs, but if everything gets shifted late bedtime, late meals, everything's
Mhm.
late, it just has a complete negative cascade in terms of like I woke up this morning, like sleep score was low, readiness score was low, all because everything got shifted basically 3 hours. And sometimes you just can't avoid it. Like if everybody's doing something at 8 p.m., are you going to be the weird guy that just doesn't go if it's a family? I mean, so sometimes it's just part of life. So it's like how frequent does that happen? But yeah, getting into this. This is something I think came up in our RAD meeting yesterday. Somebody talked about, hey, we know what FOMO is, the fear of missing out. He said, what about JOMO? And everybody's like, what's JOMO? He said, the joy of missing out.
So good.
Yeah, I think it was Brian Gobar that came up
Yeah.
with that one. And you look at it and you go, this ties into your ideal day. Like, what if you had the joy of missing out on all these things you think you need to do? And,
Yeah.
that gets into the calendar and yeah, being proactive with your life. And so, but I don't know if that was an original thought, but that Jomo was a piece of gold yesterday at that meeting.
It brought me right back to college where I couldn't imagine missing a night with the guys, and now it's like I couldn't imagine doing one.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
Jomo,
you're like, hey, can we
joy
meet
of
for
missing.
can we meet for coffee?
Yeah,
Not,
exactly.
coffee and a hike, maybe. It's
Yeah. That's
yeah,
good.
you reframe things. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the flip side then. So that's the ideal day. And you guys maybe don't experience this very often, but like talk about a day that's not the opposite of that. Like the day where I wish I had that do over, or that's a day I'm never going to get back. And either I handled it wrong, I didn't schedule properly, I took stuff I shouldn't have taken, I went into villain mode. Clint, have you had one of those recently?
Oh, probably. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. For sure. I'm thinking about a week ago back is the last one I can remember, and I'm sure I've had them since then. But I do. I tend to go in villain mode pretty easily, it feels like. And I can notice that more now in the last couple of years since we really laid out those four roles and talked about them, where I notice myself. Um, I have had one of those days recently, and I'm always just so thankful for mercy and grace from the people around me and my wife specifically. So, um, that usually just helps lift me out of it. But yeah, it's just I think I'm not answering your question that well, but I like to notice it. I'm working on noticing it earlier and earlier to get myself out earlier.
Mhm.
So um,
Yeah, it's like the advanced warning system. If you can
yeah,
catch it early, you can do your own pattern interrupt and snap the quick apology, the get back in gear, get
yeah.
back in the hero mode. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
How about you, Brock? Any recent days went off track?
Um, yeah, I'll talk about one that sort of doesn't happen very often, and then some that happens that I'm noticing more often. I can't even remember the last time I've missed my morning routine. It's that sacred to me, whether I'm at my parents' house or traveling or on vacation or, even road tripping, sleeping in a tent in 4 different states, 4 different nights. Like I did it every single morning, but the days that I don't do that, I mean, look out, I'm just a monster. It's just like I'm irritable. Like I'm not centered. I feel like I'm just winging it. And I am a nightmare to be around if I'm sure. Um, Clint, you said it. I mean, out of or like the villain mode. And what I've noticed in myself, and just coming out of the season that I've been coming out of, is when I'm operating in survival mode, I am not at my best. I'm letting kind of the world dictate what I do, or it's just like I'm hanging on for dear life. And so much of the habits and routines and just like really balance in my life has allowed me to step out of that survival mode. But in doing it, it's really easy to identify when other people are in that now of just letting the world just drag you around, and I know that I don't operate my best. I make really, really poor decisions, and those are the ones that are just like, well, wish I could have a do over. It's nice to know And I still have them all the time, or I fall in that victim or villain mode, but just quickly like, okay, how am I getting out of this? I'm not going to let this go from one meal to two, or if this is just like a last day, tomorrow is going to be the best day. I'm going to wake up and just nail my morning routine. But those are some of the things that I've been noticing and kind of working on myself.
Mhm.
Hey, real quick, you guys both, I think, have some good insight. How do you find yourself getting out of that mode? What's your pattern interrupt? How do you flip that switch? Or is it, what does that look like?
Well,
Yeah.
for me, I'll say the the time it takes to recognize it went from, let's just say this was possibly days, to now it's maybe, I'd like to say it's minutes, but it's probably hour or two, where in certain things just have a way of just like, they have a natural cycle. So my natural cycle used to be this, and now it's more like this. Whether it's just anything where, and part of it's like, how am I feeling? If I'm feeling good, confident, productive, helpful, caring, it's like I'm in hero mode or guide mode, one of the two. When
Yeah.
I'm angry, depressed, anxious, um, feeling like, I just feel like I need to like vent. It's like, all right, I'm not, that's not how heroes,
Yeah.
we're not
Mhm.
perfect, but it's like, okay, time to pattern interrupt and examine it. It's like you're almost like roll. You remember that Matthew McConaughey Lincoln commercial where what's his face, Jim Carrey was doing an imitation of it, and he's like rolling around. You have to see it, but it's like taking that thing and just rolling around your fingers and just looking at it and going, God, I'm just gonna get rid of that. Throw it away, and just get back into hero mode. So that's how
Yeah.
I've been doing it. It's been effective. It's like if I didn't have that model to rely on, I'd still probably be stuck in the despair, the valley of despair on something that happened 2 days ago, and like it's gnawing at you. And now it's just more like, you know what? I'm not going to stay there. So that's how I've been using it. Is I really rely on that. What role am I in right now? Letting the
Jag,
emotions
that's
tell me.
that's really good. Examining it, like that has been. I'd say that has been one of the things that you don't. I mean, bringing it from days to hours to minutes is one thing, but then identifying what it is that threw you off. One of my big ones is, you already said it earlier, Jag, was saying yes to too many things, or loading up the calendar. Maybe that was on our talk before this, of just like, why did I say yeah? Why did I put that on my calendar?
Mhm.
Like, I know better than this. Like, I had a week, a couple weeks ago, where I went back to my old mode, and I had 3 days in a row that were just back to back meetings the entire day, and I was just I was not in a good place. It's just like, I have worked so hard to work out of this. Why did I do that? I know there'll be some days that are there, but those are the times that, I find myself in that victim villain mode. And it's like, okay, examining it, reflecting, making sure that like I have this balance, I have the routine, I have my structure in my day most days. And that's what I love, because I love how I feel. I like how I show up. And I not only in the hero mode, but I'm in the guide mode for a lot of people that I'm leading. um if it's in the, dude, you are a nightmare to be around right now, you need to do something about this, it's go for a walk, get outside. Doesn't matter what time of year it is, doesn't matter. I mean, I went for evening walks before, I went for really early morning, but it's like, go outside. That is like almost always just like, it snaps me out of it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Never underestimate the power of a walk. That's awesome.
Hmm.
And just two quick things that I took out of that. Yeah, that I like how you said the cycle, Jag, because yeah, it's a matter of just reducing the cycle of being in that, and being aware of it. And if, one thing I'm thinking of is our feelings lie. Like if I just feel whatever I'm feeling that put me there, we know we can't trust our feelings, and just being able to step back and really take assessment of that. It's good
Mhm.
stuff.
Hey, I'm reminded you remind me of this, Brock. Shout out to a couple of guys. So in one of our meetings, we had Antonio Neves as a guest speaker a couple different times now, and James Slavitt in the call said, he said, Antonio, you said something at a different thing that James had heard Antonio speak at, and this was like, I remember it like it was yesterday. He said the quote was, this is James quoting Antonio, "What shows up when you show up?" And what I love about that is like, it ties into something, a new friend of mine named Dan Harrison has been teaching. He said, the frequencies in like shame is like the one of the lowest frequencies you can operate on. And then you get into peace and joy and calm and all these higher frequency ways. And he's like, you think about your frequency before you interact with someone. And he was teaching it to us, like when you're going into a meeting of some sort, do a frequency check. And that ties into what the quote that James was bringing up is like, well, so you've shown up at this meeting. What shows up when you show up? Low energy, negative, pissed off, or you're going to bring your version of this. Like, I'm not going to be someone I'm not, right? I'm not going to show up as this East Coast or West Coast guy. I mean, I'm a guy from the Midwest. I'm who I am, but I can bring a different energy and different language patterns. And it's funny, it works, man. When you have that stop and say, what frequency am I at right now? I got to turn it up. You can do this. And Tony Robbins talks about this too, like this priming. It might mean just get up and jump up and down, do some jumping jacks. Like you guys said, go for a walk, do something to change your physical state that will help you change your frequency that you're vibrating at. And that sounds woo-woo. It's not woo-woo at all. It's like, call whatever you want, but what shows up when you show up? What frequency are you operating at? What energy level are you bringing? Are you attracting or repelling people? Frame it however you want. That goes into what's an ideal day, man. If you're you can't have an ideal day operating at a bad frequency. You just can't.
What came to mind there, Jake, when you talked about that? Like, think about your frequency. What shows up when you show up? And all three of us said that our days, our ideal days start with our morning routine, and oftentimes like something that I've heard that I've just been regurgitating over and over is like, that's my time to think about what I'm thinking about. Ask those two questions, like think about your frequency and what shows up when you show up. Like literally think about that, review your last day or last week, or, how are you showing up in relationships? How are you showing up in business? How are you showing up for yourself? Like those are some really good things to think about. And if you're like in that villain mode, victim mode, they're really good ones. Are like, you want to continue to repeat that? You're gonna switch something. You're going to like that is the perfect time to do that and set it into motion for that day. Stop it right now and start something new.
Yeah.
I heard a tool on a podcast from DJ Shipley a couple of weeks ago, and he talks about every day when he pulls in the driveway before he gets out to go see his wife and kids, he sits there, takes deep breath, and he just turns the dial down. And dial it up or dial it down is kind of what you were saying earlier, Jag. It's a good tool to use. So
it is. And hey, to plug one of the friends of Argent Alpha, Nick Hool, if you need extra help, the vagus nerve stimulator. This is like the clumsiest product placement thing. I guess it's the first one I've ever done, but again, not kidding. Like this thing, pull it out, put it on the vagus nerve, and it just kind of brings you a state of calm. So if some guys need this kind of stuff, like if this becomes like your pattern interrupt, like, oh, this is going to help me calm down, move from a sympathetic state to a parasympathetic state. You don't need to buy gear, but this is something I've been experimenting with. And so whether it's a phrase, a model, a frequency reminder, a device, get something in your life that helps you recalibrate and then start your day so you have an ideal day, or recover and end with an ideal day. And I think that's kind of the key. You can always end the day as an ideal day, but you got to have awareness of it. It all starts with awareness. If you don't have awareness, you can't take agency. If you don't have agency, you're not going to take the right action. So it's huge.
One thing I want to put out there, Jag, like we, even zooming or dialing in a little bit more from the ideal day, something I bring up with clients all the time. We talked about it here, morning routine, evening routine. Those are the bookends of your day. Like you could even say, what is my ideal morning routine? Review that compared to what you're doing now. You have some action items there. Same thing on, what's my ideal victory lap or evening routine? Those are some things to really like hone in on, and they'll make your day better too. So instead of just like, hey, I got to do this all in one fell swoop, got to go from having crappy days to the best days. It's like, well, you could start even smaller than that by zoning in on one of those pieces.
Hey, let's close with that. Like each of us go like, if we were going to give someone advice on, let me reframe it. Someone says, hey, Brock, hey, Clint, I want to do a morning routine. I don't know where to start. Clint, you go first. What would be, if you were to say one thing, let's just keep it that way. We'll each come up with one thing. What one thing would you tell that person on where to start?
But with the morning routine,
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to go through mine just in a condensed way, but consistency. Just start. If you're going to tell somebody to start, just start. That's one of the biggest issues that we have with everything, putting it off. Why don't you just start, whatever it looks like? So
Yeah.
I'll leave it with that.
Start messy, start sloppy, start, there's no
Yeah,
right answer, just start something. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Brock, how about you?
Mine is basically gonna be the same thing. Just start and be consistent. Mine is foam rolling, drinking coffee, having some water while I'm listening to something that inspires me. I take notes on what I'm learning. I talk about what my thoughts are there, send it to um, uh, someone that I talk with every single day to get her thoughts on that too. And I mean, that is my day right there. Just it helps me move forward closer to the person that I want to become.
So what I'll contribute for my part would be, because I agree with both of what you both said, is just pen, paper, and write down how you want the day to go. Just write that down. It might be as simple as, I want to have the best damn day ever. I mean, start there. Just start there. There's the self-fulfilling prophecy, the law of the self-fulfilling prophecy. So if you don't write anything down, the default is never good. The default day not planned out is never the awesome day. That's just chance. That's like a lottery ticket. I had an awesome day today. I have no idea why. It just happened that way. Versus when, like Clint said, and Brock said both, when you bookend your day with intention, whatever happens in between in that sandwich, it's probably going to be way better than if you hadn't bookended your day. No
Hmm.
matter what, even if it's all out of your control, the world just,
Yeah.
it's not a brainstorm, it's a shitstorm. It's like it's not creative, it's just the opposite of creative. It's chaos.
If you
There's a
just,
lot of days where it's just like a crappy day sandwiched in there, absolute chaos. In my life is with kids and a bunch of other stuff going on. But you know what? Even on those days, like I have control of those, and it makes it such a good day. Like I can't tell you the amount of times, hundreds of them in the past couple of years, where it's just like, holy, I gotta like it was just absolutely chaotic.
So I don't know what the minutes are, but let's just say, let's go with hours. So if you're sleeping 8 hours, you're awake 16 hours. You could have 15 hours and 50 minutes of crap in your day. But if you had 5 minutes to start the day with intention and 5 minutes to end the day with intention, it could still be a good day.
Yep,
That's
and it
pretty,
builds from there too.
yeah. I mean, 10 minutes out of 16 hours is all it takes to have potentially an ideal day.
if you zoom out and just look at big picture and you spend that time in the morning writing, I'm expecting amazing things to happen today, whatever that is, even if that was what you wrote. And at night, if you just list the wins like we talk about, you can't go wrong. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just zoom out. You can't go wrong.
Well, Clint, you always say too, like, how do you phrase it? If you don't quit, you can't lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's that consistency part.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, Jackie and I are going to go into down San Jose and stroll around, and we're going to make it a great day. I don't know. What do you guys got planned today? Anything unique or out of the ordinary, or just going out and crushing life?
Workout, food, gymnastics, hockey.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I already dominated a workout this morning and got some work things to do, so it's already a good day.
In
So,
case you're wondering, I'm not doing gymnastics or hockey. I'm just carting people around to that.
You're
I'd like to
sure
do both of them.
you're the Uber driver today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys.
awesome.
Well, thanks. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for everyone for tuning into this thing. And we got year-end planning coming up pretty soon. We'll do a podcast on that. I don't think we've done a deep dive, but I'd love to go into like some of the tools we use. And stay tuned for that. Things like 3 words, Kevin's rule, the ABCD method, Masogi's. We'll get into all these things as a way to make 2026. This is like taking that ideal day into an ideal year. So we're going to
Yeah.
expand on some of these concepts. And everybody, I mean, you guys have done it. It's an awesome experience. So a little teaser for everyone who's listening to this. All right,
Perfect.
guys, have a good one.
Awesome. See you
Thanks.
guys.
Appreciate it.
See ya.